Alright, everyone. How many of you are familiar with a YouTuber who has kind of disappeared in the last 3 or 4 years, known as Slazo? You guys remember Slazo, right? Famously, he was forced, effectively, to leave YouTube after some pretty horrific false allegations, as they would turn out, came out against him. Now, it wasn't just that some false allegations came out claiming that he was an abusive, pretty much rapist. No. The fact was that the person who accused him was themselves groomed into doing so by a group of other content creators that inhabited the commentary community and actively, maliciously convinced this girl to lie about him to take him down. It was genuinely fucked up. And anyone who was around back then that remembers it, to this day, cannot forgive the fucker in that thumbnail. Not him, not Slazo. I'm Alex. Which, unfortunately, I am Alex. My name is, in fact, Alex as well, so I'm Alex is both a true statement on my part and this fucker's name on YouTube. I have fucking hated this bastard for the last 4 years. I have prayed for karmic judgment to come down like the fucking hammer of God on I'm Alex for so goddamn long. Slazo is literally the only commentary YouTuber at the time I could tolerate. You have to understand, when this happened, commentary YouTube had blown up. There were a dime a dozen commentary channels everywhere you looked. Your recommended was constantly filled with new commentary channels nonstop. It was in this and they were always vaguely edgy Leafy clones as well, you know, vaguely right-wing edgy Leafy clone types, which made it all the worse. Slazo set himself apart. He had good, he was, you know, somewhat charismatic. He was nice to listen to. He didn't overly rely on edgy pseudo right-wing anti-SJW humor of the time. And he just wasn't cringe. He wasn't cringe like the rest of them were. But the group of people who came after him were part of the crowd that I never even liked to begin with. I need to be clear. I never liked this crowd to begin with. I really never did. Another part of that group that went against him, that groomed this girl into making false allegations against Slazo, was can I find it? Where's the tweet? Come on. Rawr, do I gotta scroll down lower? How many tweets have I liked? Jesus. Maybe I just liked and retweeted it. Hold on. No way, did I forget to like this? No. I actively went out of my way to like everything I could about this. Oh, man. Oh, no. Dude, that's... Wow. Nope, nothing will come up. Cool, Twitter. I see your I see your game, Twitter. I get it. No, cool. I get it, Twitter. I see what's up. I see what's happening. You need help finding it? Well, if I tell you what I'm looking for, I've spoiled the surprise. Every time I try to set up a reveal. God damn it. Wow. Man, and I know for a fact that I purposefully, intentionally, double, triple, quadruple checked liking the tweet I'm thinking of. It must actually be gone now for it not to be appearing. Well, we'll just have to continue on regardless. So one of the people that pushed for this was Kingani. I don't know if you know who this is. You probably don't. She's pretty irrelevant now. I've never... God, I wish I could find one of the million tweets calling out her tweet about this. This YouTuber, I've never liked this lady. I'm sorry. You know, like the pick-me girl, like, vibe? She has always given off that vibe, and I don't know why I'm subscribed. Probably a hate sub, to be completely honest with you. Like, I have always fucking hated this YouTuber. I have always fucking hated her. Genuinely. Since, like, going back to 2016 and 17, when she was huge on YouTube and blowing up. I don't think she's even anyone anymore. Yeah, like, she's completely fallen off, thank God. Like, her profile picture doesn't really reflect it anymore, but I need... Her art looks cozy. I know it looks cozy, chat. I know her art looks cozy. That's a difference, though. She rebranded. She literally rebranded since then because of, like, the state of the internet changing. If I just show you what her old branding was, you'll completely get what I'm talking about. Who remembers that era of, like, commentary YouTubers using ironic Snapchat avatars? Her original, like, when she blew up back in 2016, like, avatar was a Snapchat avatar. Like, that kind of, like, pick-me on Discord, like, edgy, try-hard type shit. And I never liked her. Never, ever liked her. She was part of the crowd with I'm Alex and I think Weast, who literally banded together to push these false allegations against Slazo. Never, ever forgiving these fucks. And specifically Kingani, virtue signaled and tried to distance herself from I'm Alex on this. Let me see if I can find the tweet. Come on. I know I can find it somewhere. I know it's somewhere around here. Yep, found it. Found it. Nick Lustorio came in clutch. He came in clutch. Let's go. So Kingani tweets, in regards to the Slazo situation, Michael is still guilty of what he did in the past. This is literally all, like, her doubling down back in 2019 on the false allegations against Slazo after they were outed as false. And she was outed as, doubling down on them. And this is her standing by I'm Alex and all that shit. And so Nicholas Durio was like, dude, it's literally still up. And then this is what she just posted. Oh, no, that's not the post she just made. Where's the post she just made? Where's the post she just made? Where's the one she made? Yep, here it is. My experience with I'm Alex. And she makes her own Google Doc, quote-unquote, exposing him. She literally worked with him and the other commentary YouTubers to push the false allegations and destroy Slazo. Now, getting into the actual allegations against Slazo themselves and how they were false, we're going to watch the Rachel Oates video because... First, oh my god, there's so much. Like I said, I have so much to say about this, I cannot be organized in discussing it. This is just going to be a Rage Rant video. I'm just going to put in parentheses in the title, Rage Rant, so nobody expects any organization or coherence from this video. It's just all disorganized, angry yelling about how I feel on this. And that's you're gonna take it and you're gonna fucking like it. Okay. The Right Opinion follows me on Twitter. Surely I can use some of his video here. The Right Opinion does a pretty good job, I think, of breaking down the drama pretty quickly. Plus, The Right Opinion follows me on Twitter, which means he's based, and that's really all we need to know. That's all we need to know. All we need to know. This video is called The Allegations That Broke a Community. Slazo. We're just gonna watch the opening moments of the video, just to give you guys a basic breakdown of the original sin committed by I'm Alex and why what we're about to discuss is so karmically satisfying.
A lot of the things being said are just blatantly untrue.
I love The Right Opinion, by the way.
Be honest with us. Backstabbing, lying, I mean the whole works.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Right Opinion, the home of a twat with too much free time. And my, oh my.
I don't think The Right Opinion is a twat. I think The Right Opinion is actually a gat.
boy, do we have a topic on our hands today. I know this is late, but honestly, it's a subject that has taken many twists and turns that it was worth waiting just in case any final revelations were brought forward. And obviously, this video does not exempt the fact that there may be further twists and turns in the case, and also does not mean that any new unrelated information may compromise the character of those involved. So let's talk about gaming festivals. Who loves them? I mean, honestly, I think gaming festivals would be really swell if there were less people. Or no people even, because I do like video games, but I don't like having to wait to play them. Often I just find myself aimlessly wandering and occasionally bumping into people who I may have seen at previous events and retaking the same photo, just this time with a slightly greater inkling of fatigue reflected in my weary smile. The pinball machines are good though, especially when you don't have to pay for them. Hooray for free things. Anyhow, the gaming festival that is of interest is Insomnia Gaming Festival 64, abbreviated to I-64. This ran from the Easter weekend from the 19th to the 22nd of April. I saw a lot of close friends again and met a lot of great creators. It's always nice to do so because it humanizes all these people and puts the
this kid was hilarious with his My Apology cosplay. That was good. That was good. The apology, YouTube apology video that ironically mimics exactly the background of the Colleen Ballinger ukulele video 4 years before she did it. Perfect.
Into perspective. One of these people I met at the event was a bloke called Michael, known online as Slazo. He was pleasant, I had some facetious, flirtatious exchanges with him, and after the event my life carried on. I knew some of the creators that I'd met there were going to London afterwards, Slazo included, and I would have joined them. But alas, I had university to complete, and I still felt that YouTube was an unstable source of income, so I wanted something to fall back onto in case everything fell apart. A few weeks later, around mid-May, I was alternating between university work and checking my social blade when one of my acquaintances messaged me quite shocking news. Apparently, Slazo, the person who I'd met at I-64, was going to be exposed as a predator. He was just as surprised as I was. Apparently, these claims were going to be published on a TwitLonger in the following week. So I waited with anticipation. As I hadn't actually seen any of the evidence, I didn't really talk to anyone about it, although I did tell one of my friends who was making a documentary about
I really like the Right Opinions video on this situation because while I definitely have my biases, don't get me wrong, obviously I like the Right Opinions content. The Right Opinion seems to like me, and so that generally makes me more positive on people if they're nice to me or have a positive opinion of me. You know, and like I definitely have my biases, but you have to admit he also is literally like has a personal connection to this and but isn't necessarily biased in his personal connection. So he has like a kind of uniquely perfect position to talk about the situation from, and his presentation is very good. So I think a good pick to like break down the instigation of this, because this happened so many years ago, most of you don't even know about it.
64 to perhaps consider excluding any footage with him in case it might taint the finished product. More as an act of caution, really. So I waited, and waited, and waited. A month later, a TwitLonger was published by a person named FizzyPop, who goes by the name of Che. It documented the allegations against Slazo. These allegations painted him as a sex-hungry predator who exploited the innocence and inexperience of a younger individual in the relationship, aggressively obtaining gratification when she didn't want to offer it. This was met with immediate support from the community, including many large YouTubers. It was clearly a very emotional topic for many people, and many wanted to show their support for a victim. Alongside the TwitLonger, there was a substantial amount of screenshots that...
Guys, can I say what nobody has been brave enough to say since all of this, like, went down? Like, even if you want to assume the commentary YouTubers that, like, pushed these allegations weren't maliciously lying, like, I'm not gonna lie, the biggest red flag as to, like, the truthfulness, like, whether or not the person we're receiving this story from might be a red flag, is the fact that it's a teenager whose profile picture is an image they drew of their, like, OC bunny self with a knife through their forehead, bleeding. Like, that's the kind of red flag shit. Like, that's a massive red flag about, like, a person's general mental state. Yeah. Like, a teenage girl who draws gore shit like that, and I know this isn't like gore, but like it's a little weird. It's a pretty big red flag about the mental state of who you're dealing with. And mind you, these were adult YouTubers talking to a teenage girl who like presents herself like this online and was telling them, yo, you've got to take down this YouTuber who, well, they went to her apparently. We'll get the whole story. It's so fucked, dude. It's so fucked. Frankly, it was creepier that these YouTubers like talk to her and push these allegations than anything Slazo did.
Individual in the relationship, aggressively obtaining gratification.
Yeah, I genuinely think art like this, like, I don't know, maybe I'm being a massive piece of shit or super close-minded here. Feel free to call me out if you think so, but I think this was a red flag, like from the start. Like, attention me, please. At best, this is like the biggest cry for attention type shit I've ever seen. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm overanalyzing people's fucking profile pictures here, but like I grew up in the age of like Discord, right? I grew up on Discord. I was like 15 years old when Discord came out, and like a bunch of my friends were online, and I've met a lot of types of people, and you can literally identify someone's entire personality based on their name and profile picture on Discord, and that's not even a fucking joke, okay? It's not even a joke. It's completely true. And you can tell someone's a fucking groomer from their profile picture on Discord. That's definitely true. There are like absolutely telltale signs you should fucking stay away from certain people. And you learn that stuff when you've been online for long enough, especially on Discord.
When she didn't want to offer it. This was met with immediate support from the community, including many large YouTubers. It was clearly a very emotional topic for many people, and many wanted to show their support for a victim. Alongside the TwitLonger...
No, well, now we know, though, what actually happened was...
exploited the innocence and inexperience of a younger individual in the relationship, aggressively obtaining gratification when she didn't want to offer it. This was met with immediate support...
So I'm Alex, quite...
from the community.
I hate all these people. Elvis the Alien...
including many large YouTubers.
Hello, I don't know who that is.
It was clearly a
Bluesdank, who also is one of those like pick-me female like commentary YouTubers who's like, aren't I so dank, and I dank memes and slurs and edgy commentary, internet, memes, like that era of like pick-me lady content from like 4 or 5 years ago.
Very emotional topic for
Ankskill or whatever, Kangani,
many
of
people,
course.
and many wanted to show their support for a victim.
Weast, who I also... Like, I fucking despise this guy's profile picture. Like, their profile pictures just gave me the, like red flag vibes. I don't know what it is. Like, maybe I'm just, like, psychic or something, but I see these people's profile pictures, and I just don't like them. I don't like them. Ugly-ass PFP? Yeah. Well, you gotta remember, it's like the era that this was. Like, this was the shit that was considered funny. And what was blowing up online in internet culture back then.
Alongside the TwitLonger, there was a substantial amount of screenshots that appeared to provide irrefutable evidence that Slazo was behaving in just this fashion, including multiple allusions to sexual assault, which seemed to corroborate her testimony. I'm a naturally hesitant person, however, so I decided to wait a bit more. Obviously, I didn't really blame anyone who wanted to show their support, because many of them are clearly invested, and many people behind the scenes may have information that I may not be privy to, and the screenshots themselves were undoubtedly compelling. It was a few days later that Drama Alert reported on the situation with a screenshot of Slazo's initial statement. It was nothing too revealing, said some of the claims were false or exceptionally misleading, and understandably said that he would be working on a reply that would take a little more time. He also said that he was caught off guard by these claims, as he had met Che since the relationship and supposedly put it all behind them. My judgment was skeptical of his statement at this point, but if he was prepared to reply, then I expected him to have something at least. However, then Fizzypop decided to release an additional response to Slazo's statement. It stated that they had a conversation on Instagram in which Slazo did not deny any of the claims that she made, thus incriminating him further. Many people once again stood behind these claims and supported Che with what she was saying. No one with any decent amount of common sense was going to instigate grief onto a possible victim of sexual predation. However, behind the scenes, something didn't sit right with me. I already mentioned this in a previous video, and I'll go into more depth later, but looking at the conversation...
Oh yeah, I see. For those that are unaware why people keep bringing up the sex cult drama, back when the sex cult, like, lie was spread about me, and I was forced to respond to it with, like, the big fucking response video and the giant document of screenshots and receipts and stuff, you know, since then, Thought Slime was a lot like I'm Alex in this situation, when you think about it. Like, I'm Alex, just like Thought Slime, decided to find someone who is, like, a sort of angry ex and convince them and back them in, like, false allegations to try to take down another content creator they seem to have had a grudge against, right? It was a very similar situation, and for that reason, people compared what happened with the sex cult thing to Slazo's thing back then. Like, a bunch of people were like, Zan's response to this was the best since Slazo, was like the running joke. And the running joke for a while was that I got Slazoed. And so, yeah, like that is a real thing. It does seem like there are a fair amount of angry content creators out there that are willing to, like, do this sort of thing, I guess. You know, it happened to me, it happened to Slazo. I'm sure it's happened to other content creators, and we don't even know.
something about the tone of Che just made me uncomfortable, so I confronted Slazo and told him that although he's deserving of some very genuine criticism, if it had been taken out of context like he claimed, in spite of the risk, it would be...
I don't care if any of the people involved in this apologized. They actively goaded and convinced this girl to recollect these events differently than how she did in order to push the narrative that Slazo was a predator. She was never going to come out with allegations against him because she didn't feel that anything seriously bad happened between them. It wasn't until those other content creators reached out to her and started convincing her she had been abused that she decided to come out with those allegations. And of course, within the moment she posted them, they were all there in the replies to retweet, and comment with support. They actively, maliciously constructed a narrative to try and destroy Slazo's image. And they pretty much succeeded. That's the sad part. They basically succeeded and faced no justice for it.
Be worth showing the additional content because the importance of protecting your social image is vital. These are things that will stick with someone for life. And if she has shown what would frame you as terrible, if you say you want to show evidence but then don't, people will take that, well, as it seems. Incriminating. Our conversation ended and I waited for his video, and on the evening of June the 27th, he finally responded. It was a strong video. I had to watch it a few times through, and once again, I'll save my thoughts for later on. Although I was pleased he had managed to present his side, I was also anticipating possible additional responses. As said, at this point in time, it felt like a situation that was mostly between him and Che. Although it had caught my attention that certain people had openly taken credit when the initial statement came out, I assumed that their involvement would be addressed when we had assessed the validity of the claims. However, what quickly happened was a descent into community civil war. Many people who had been involved in the release of the original statement decided to tweet out further comments. Many of these people decided to continue backing Che. However, many of their statements were vague and also frustrated many audiences. This led to pressure on creators to #apologize to Slazo. The messy responses provoked videos and streams from many smaller creators, placing pressure.
Oh yeah, here it is. Here's that old Kingani PFP that I told you about. Do you see? These are all the profile pictures of the people that were involved in this war against Slazo. Do you see what I mean now when I tell you, it was just this, bizarre, have you ever seen a more 2016 image? Have you ever, more like 2019 actually is when this happened. Have you ever seen a more 2019 image? Just the most insufferable people in the commentary community decided to come together and attack Slazo. Dolan Dark was part of it? Yeah. Yeah, Dolan Dark's a piece of shit. You guys didn't know? Yeah, it sucks to find out. I was upset too. I was upset too. A lot of those big content creators that blew up in the commentary community back in 2019, these folks here fucking suck. Obviously, I don't think she was a commentary creator, but regardless, you know what I mean. Quite as well, I don't watch him, but my sister does. Yeah, Quite fucking sucks. As a person. Quite has since apologized, sure, and did the whole, Quite has said some base stuff and all that, but Quite also fucking sucks for this entire thing. I don't forgive a single one of these people for what they did, because it was, completely malicious, and they knew what they were doing was wrong while they were doing it, and they did it anyway.
And stimulating further attacks, which caused significant sub-losses, particularly for one creator. I am Alec, the creator.
They didn't make a mistake. They made a consciously bad decision to hurt someone out of malice.
Involved with the largest social presence. Nonetheless, this whole situation hit a multitude of creators involved, with incriminating screenshots and additional claims affecting their image and causing more and more drama, which escalated to the climax that left us where we are today. But what exactly happened? And why did it? Well, let's have a discussion. As a freeface, I do know many of the creators personally, and therefore I will naturally seek to defend their character. However, criticism is criticism, and there is a lot to dish out, and a lot of information out there to clear up as well. So let's go to the beginning of this story.
Slazo.
As said, I'd heard about these allegations a month before their publication. However, there wasn't really much I could do as I had seen no evidence. However, when the allegations were initially released, they were pretty much supported universally, with a few exceptions, and understandably so. However, with the knowledge that we have now, that this wasn't exactly representative of the truth, I want to reflect on the original TwitLonger. The first thing that I really want to do here is the premise for the TwitLonger's existence. This is both mentioned at the start and at the end. Typically, when we come forward with public claims against a person, we might want to justify why these claims are necessary. Now, I'd argue sometimes a justification isn't treatment necessary. In cases of severe trauma, it might take a while to come forward with such allegations. However, it's clear that Che felt that there were conditions that needed to be fulfilled. In the Twitlonger's instance, the point was that she had been informed Slazo had been repeating a trend of creepy behavior that he exhibited to her during a relationship that was rather predatory and abusive. Now, these claims do not directly imply that Slazo has been repeating this exact pattern of behavior, but what the author of the Twitlonger implied was that as a public figure, if Slazo has an incapability to behave responsibly, then he shouldn't be in a position of power at all. As I mentioned in my Austin Jones video, the sort of dedication that many stans might have influences their judgment, and therefore many girls may be susceptible to a predator in a powerful position. Therefore, with the assertion that he is up to no good, Che presents a testimony that paints Slazo in a particularly negative light. You have two sides to this Twitlonger, the stories and the screenshots. Now, normally the screenshots will be used to substantiate the individual claims. However, with regards to these screenshots that Che posted, they are more to corroborate the idea of credibility. This is mainly because many of the testimonies provided are anecdotal, and it would be difficult to directly corroborate them. The screenshots in this instance set the foundations that Slazo would be someone likely to commit behavior reported on in the Twitlonger. DMs will never directly reflect what happens in real life, but whatever they showed, it revealed someone very forceful in what they wanted from Che. Probably the most incriminating screenshots are shown at the top. They seem to show Slazo and Che discussing a non-consensual act from the position of hindsight, and although it seemed like he was regretful of it, it also seemed to yield a strange obsession from an urge, as he said it. That urge seems like something that is hard to control and appears to be the greatest threat if he is continuing to behave with the mentality that he has expressed in these messages. Many people took...
It was the most, like, insane case of clip chimping ever. Because what we would find out later was that everything was, in fact, consensual. Even the things that were screenshotted there, where she seems to be saying she wasn't comfortable with something, like she deliberately cuts out everything before and after, showing actually she was totally into it and gave enthusiastic consent and was super into it. And what we found out was happening was that she would give consent for a sexual thing to happen, and then, like, days later, message him randomly saying that it made her uncomfortable and that she made no, indication of that and feels bad. But was she a minor? They were both minors. A lot of, at the time, he was 16 and she was 14, though to be clear, she was like a month from turning 15. Let's not, don't want to make it seem like there was a whole 2 years between them. It was more like a year. He was freshly 16 and she was almost about to turn 15. So it wasn't like the massive age gap at that age range as you'd think. Oh, damn, they're young. Yeah, this was a relationship, by the way, that had been years old, that had happened years ago at that time, by the way. It was years in the past when they were kids. So literally, Slazo was a teenager and not a YouTuber. And apparently a relationship that he had, or he might have been a YouTuber, but a much smaller one, and they went back and found an old relationship he had in high school and tried to destroy his adult career with that. Falsely. Wow, that's insanely vindictive. It really is.
This as definitive evidence that Slazo was a predator, but there were a few details that made me rather hesitant at the time. The first was that I'd been told of additional details when I was informed in May that didn't make it in the first Twitlonger. Arguably, this evidence that I was told of was some of the most incriminating, and although I reserved thought for the possibility that these may be held off due to possible police involvement, the fact that they had not been mentioned at all, not even in the context of the idea that they had been passed on to the relative authorities, confused me. Once again, I was not certain about the circumstances surrounding that information, and the evidence was still convincing on its own terms, but it was a personal note I had to take. However, something that was a bit more publicly identifiable was a weird contradiction that caught my attention. This was the talk about how people could change, and although I agree that people can change, if what was claimed was true, it would be less of a case of whether he had changed and more of a case of at least being somewhat accountable for causing a substantial amount of trauma. It is important to note at the time of the relationship, Slazo was 16 and Che was 14, and therefore, although we don't expect Slazo to be the perfect boyfriend, there is a level of responsibility on him. Anyone with any amount of critical thinking could see that regardless of what he might be up to currently, he deserves to face some retribution for his transgressions here as well, because it's clear he's done a lot of damage. People aren't ignorant to moral repercussions, but this is also what confused me. I passed it off at the time as Che trying to sound reasonable, but rereading it, it just seemed rather discordant. And this is something that I followed through into the second Twitlonger, because in response to Slazo's statement to Drama Alert, alongside another Twitlonger statement, Che posted screenshots from Instagram from a conversation with Slazo when he had heard that the first Twitlonger was in the works. These were claimed to incriminate Slazo further. However, the main premise of these screenshots were, as Che stated that Slazo appeared to deny none of the claims. However, when reading this additional statement, I took immediate issue with this premise because there was no guarantee that Slazo would have known the claims that Shay would be making in her original tweet longer, as the Instagram conversation had occurred before it. So I found this rather strange. With this in mind, the DMs themselves don't prove much. However, when you assess them more closely, I'd argue they make Shay look worse, mainly because there are multiple DMs in which Slazo seems to be desperately asking for these people who have made these claims. And although I completely understand why the anonymity of victims who haven't gone public yet needs to be protected, there was an evasiveness about her answers that made me very uncomfortable. After numerous amounts of questions and lack of answers, Shay changes the topic completely to the damage that he had caused. And it just felt dishonest because, alright, if you say it publicly, I can see you're trying to present reasonability to the audience. However, there's no reason to say that in this conversation. It's just Slazo. Who knows what he's done regardless? She had no reason to present reasonability. She could have just vented that what he did was wrong. But the fact that she tried to play the I heard things about you card and then defaulting when Slazo tried to ask further seemed very suspicious. It felt disingenuous to me.
So for those that don't know, by the way, the reason she claims she came forward with these allegations, which eventually ended up being bullshit, was that she had heard things about Slazo after their relationship. What that meant was that cabal, we'll say, of YouTubers, those commentary YouTubers that had convinced her to push these allegations against him, those were the people telling her things about him. And so maybe she was genuinely hurt by their relationship. I mean, they were teenagers. I'm sure teenage boy Slazo might have done something shitty. Nothing predatory, but certainly like maybe something that made her uncomfortable or made her feel bad. I mean, teenage boys kind of suck. They can do that. But yeah, like it was so bizarre because it was this coordinated effort to try and frame something that ended up being revealed to not be predatory at all as predatory. And it was just very, very bizarre. We'll watch a little bit more just because it's going to break down like the reveal and everything that came after. And then I can get into the sweet karma that we've finally gotten from all of this.
Which is what inspired me to reach out to Slazo. It felt like she knew that nothing Slazo had done was as terrible as she framed it, and was trying to look for justification to release these claims when it just wasn't there, while still exaggerating what happened. And honestly, I didn't really want to speak to someone who had possibly done terrible things. They provoke an emotional reaction from me, and people know my personal history with it. But it seemed like so many people had preemptively condemned him for something that just wasn't as it seemed, and I felt he could use a bit of advice. After all, it was advice that would only work if he was truly innocent. At the end of the day, if you're a popular creator and you're publicly called out, it is extremely important that you can defend yourself. These are allegations that will follow you around because many people will look up your name, someone will recognize your face. It is a matter that extends into your private life. Whether that defense takes a few days or a couple years sometimes, these things will take some time to consolidate. Just don't rush a statement, or don't try and cut something halfway, or else people will just think you're trying to get away with it by downplaying it. By premising that he'd be responding further but not saying too much, he didn't let people take his response apart, and this gave him maximum scope for a full response.
I wanted to make a video regarding the situation as of a couple weeks ago. Some of you might be wondering why it took so long to make this response.
I've spoken about the aesthetics of his response in a previous video, so I won't go in it too deep, but there's a lot of points to be taken away, nonetheless relating specifically to the situations in question. One thing that Slazo couldn't really dispute was the actual content of the DMs. However, there was a lot he could dispute, and we'll discuss how much the DM content was actually compromised. But we'll look at the video for now. There are two separate things he could do. Firstly, present a perspective that makes his story look legitimate, or go the extra mile and disprove the opposing perspective. Although Shay provided DMs, as noted, they were much more to construct an image of a character that would imply he's capable of doing those acts. There was no real evidence with direct reference. So firstly, Slazo goes in for the anecdotal evidence. He doesn't directly contradict every story, but he does manage to provide enough evidence to show that some of these stories aren't exactly as they were presented.
She pulls my hand down and says to touch her, which is a pretty long way from how she portrays it in her version of the story. In fact, she was actually the one who brought up the entire idea of doing any.
I probably won't be there long enough this week, oh well, but maybe we can have some fun in the cinema. I hope so. She says, I hope so too, can't wait to see you, it's gonna be so amazing. Yeah, like a lot of it was stuff like this, where it's like screenshot she shows that like with more of like the rest of the conversation like added on to it, not the bits where it's cut off. It's obvious they're joking. Like he did this thing, and I don't like this. I'm not gonna defend this, but it isn't literally being predatory, where when he was a teenager and he was dating this girl, they would joke about rape and sexual assault quite regularly. And I completely understand if she's made uncomfortable by that in hindsight, but that was just cringe teen behavior. I don't know what to tell you. Like, they would joke about, like, sexually assaulting each other back and forth because they were, like, edgy teenagers. Like, they were literally 15 and 16 at the time. So, like, I like, it's just the kind of humor that teenagers have. It's stupid and it's not, like, good, but it's not evidence that he's a predator. And as those screenshots started to be revealed to be extremely misleading, the one she provided as, like, character evidence for how he could be predatory, people started to go, wait a minute, you know, especially when you've got screenshots like these of her bringing up the idea of what she later said was, like, him predatorily coming onto her in the theater out of nowhere, when it was her idea.
Anything in the cinema. It was her idea, and I had no reason to believe she wasn't as in on this as I was. But I do have plenty of evidence from very early on in the relationship where she clearly made no intention.
Yeah, you can, I mean, if you want, you can just read the screenshots. I'm not reading these, like, sexting combos between teenagers anymore.
To wait until 16. That was never clear to me. I never got that impression, and I don't know why she's saying that. She also mentions later in the post that she's never been in a relationship before. This isn't the impression that I was under. I was under the impression, from these screenshots here, that she's had at least 2 boyfriends and 1 girlfriend before.
Yep, she's a pathological liar, too. That came up as a pretty obvious piece of evidence. The fact that she, numerous times insisted that Slazo was her first boyfriend to kind of emphasize how tragic it is that her first boyfriend would be predatory towards her, when in reality there are countless screenshots of her saying she's had multiple exes, even a girlfriend at one point, which either she was lying to Slazo when she was a teenager about that, or she's lying now or was lying then as an adult, or almost an adult, to try to make herself seem more like more of a victim, even if all this was true, but she was, you know, like, single. Like, it had to be more tragic that he was so awful because it was her first boyfriend, you know, but not really.
We ever met.
This is important because none of the stories were proven necessarily, so the fact that Slazo could at least provide contradiction for some of them was enough to undermine a key factor necessary to Che's testimony: credibility. On one hand, Slazo could have straight up denied these claims and left it there, but the evidence he provided actually showed that Che had not presented these claims in good faith. Probably the most incriminating factor was that the evidence that he provided was DM related, and given the fact that Che clearly went through the DMs fairly meticulously to collect as much evidence against Slazo as possible, it seems she must have avoided a lot of DMs that would show her as not being as helpless as she framed herself as. Memories can be clouded and inaccurate, but the problem was the memory had become so biased that for many people, whether Slazo intended to or not, showed the claims as released in bad faith. The same DMs that had incriminated Slazo a few weeks later had suddenly exonerated him.
But previous to these messages, I'd mentioned something, a complaint I had that I probably should have kept to myself. It's embarrassing for her, and she's saying that she wasn't too keen on doing that thing in the first place, and now she's embarrassed. Anyway, around here, she crops out around 11 minutes of conversation between us, where I apologize and try to get her side and understand how she feels. I wasn't very good at it, but I tried. In the video where she's scrolling through her messages here to prove that they're real, she also goes nearly up to where I apologize and try to understand her point of view, but then quickly scrolls down.
I forgot about that bit too. Yeah, I feel like we've seen enough of the Right Opinion video. I don't want to just post the entire video. Highly recommend you watch all of it, though, because it's really good. And ever since all this has happened, as you can imagine, I've had a pretty strong opinion. I've had a pretty strong opinion on I'm Alex and the entire little clique of 2016 to 2019 era commentary YouTubers that like decided to slander him collectively. Well, holy shit. Can we get the full video? Ah, where's the full video? No, I'm not showing a small clip. No, I want to show the longest variant of this that we have. Where is it? Come on. Here's a 44-second version. I think here it is. So, I'm Alex has had allegations of abuse come out against him. Now, you might think screenshots would be the evidence that we have that are going to be his downfalls. Like, you know, the screenshots are typically what you get as evidence. No, we got something even better. Even more incontrovertible. We got full-on fucking video, guys. He's done. He is fucking done. I know there's a victim in all this, and that should be the focus, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm too busy soaking up the joy of I'm Alex's downfall. I can't think about anything other than Packwatch.
So I'm a fucking whore mouth bitch retard cunt.
Is it generally because you're just fucking brain dead?
Yeah.
This
I'm
is his
very
girlfriend, by the
brain
way.
dead,
Is that why you decided to go on the fucking offensive instead of the
Yeah.
maybe?
Offensive.
Okay. I don't know what to call what you did. It was weird. It's always weird. You always take the fucking weird route. Just do the normal route, which is just do the normal route, but a normal girlfriend.
You're
would do,
acting
and go,
like
I
this
didn't,
is
I didn't
all
mean
just
it.
me, and that's something you really need to fucking fix.
I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the fuck up. Because this one, genuinely, this one, you fucked this, royally
Dude.
fucked this.
So I'm a fucking whore mouth.
So, yeah, ooh, a little spicy there, man. A little spicy. Get a little spicy there. Ooh. And it gets way worse, by the way. Like, there's countless screenshots released of just outright threats. Just death threats and violent threats towards his current, or his ex-girlfriend. Hold on. So, I'm Alex calls his girlfriend the N-word during a domestic dispute, but you overheard them in the bathroom during a 2023 party. This is, I guess, the version of this clip we're going to consume is the version where we're hearing their argument and I'm Alex calling his girlfriend the N-word during an argument while in the bathroom at a party. Enjoy.
And then you look like a fucking miserable fucking little cunt all the time. Like, your face is annoying to look at, like, when I come downstairs. Like, I'm actually fed up of looking at you, which is why I sleep downstairs. I don't want to have to go upstairs. Oh, you're taking all the covers. It's like fucking woman just like fucking asked me to buy another one. Or stop the
Fucking pissing sound.
It annoys me. Nothing needs to be an argument because everything is fixable. Buy a new duvet. I sleep downstairs. No, you've always got to act like none of this stuff because you're not actually trying to fix it. Like, it's infuriating at this point. Like earlier, you're...
I'm sorry. So basically, we've got a lot of video of him just, like, abusing his girlfriend. Just outright, just abusing his girlfriend. And it's just, oh. He is done, dude. He is fucking done. He is absolutely done. And I just, oh, the fulfillment. The karmic fulfillment. It's like a moment where reality's writers actually did a good job at fulfilling a story arc. Yup, he's donezo. Yeah, he's fucking done. He is definitely done. Oh my gosh. I really don't know what else to talk about in regards to this. I feel like I've finally expressed all that I had to say. I like his the evidence provided by his ex is pretty incontrovertible. It's just video evidence. I don't know what else you could really ask for, unless you think it was made by AI or something. And I'm just happy to say that he's done. I feel bad for his girlfriend, but I hope that she's able to find justice, and I hope that justice comes for I'm Alex very quickly. I've always hated him. I hate Kingani too, and I hope justice comes for her now, because like she's now trying to jump on the bandwagon of saying that she had a bad experience with him too, but they were literally accomplices in what they did to Slazo. I don't believe a word of what she said. She's just trying to like jump ship, I think. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. If you liked or disliked what I had to say about all of this, consider disliking or liking the video in the thumbs up and thumbs up down below. Really helps a lot with the engagement, even if it's a dislike, but I prefer likes, to be honest. Comment as well if you want to boost the channel. It helps too. And consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon to turn on all notifications so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. I really do appreciate it, so Thank you to everyone who does that. It means a lot. Make sure to follow my social medias linked down below. Join my free fan Discord, which has, we do watch parties, call-in streams, and game events in there. I also announce my new uploads and streams too, so if you want to be a part of my community, you probably want to be in that Discord. Links down below as well. And of course, maybe consider supporting me directly, financially, by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live. It really does go a long way, but if you can't do that, consider supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buying merch to the Streamlabs link down below. But regardless of how you support me, even if you're just watching, I really do appreciate it, and as always, have a good one.